Welcome, brothers. In today's video, we are going to see the opinions of different women on what it's like to relate to a man, all in different situations, so that we can understand how they think in various contexts. But before we go any further, brothers, we want your support in our goal for these coming months to reach 50,000 subscribers. We want our family to keep growing, so support us with your like and subscription. Don't forget to leave us your comments. Without further ado, let's get started.
First one, which I've alluded to in the last two videos, is putting in more than she's putting Putting in more than she's putting in. I'll tell you right now, you're already in charge of putting in the D. Why are you giving more than you have to? The second one, which I talked about yesterday in my reaction video to Bobby Rio, is this idea of trying to play games. A lot of guys get really uncomfortable, like, oh no, she might think I like her. So they'll add distance where they don't need to, actually. The third one is getting overly platonic. If I have a great conversation with a guy and we have the same sense of humor, woohoo, we get into this pattern of becoming like, hey, how was your day? My day was good. How was your day? My day was good too. The fourth one is when you cool down on the flirtation, or you just never kick it into flirty gear to begin with. If you know that you suffer from the latter and you're like, Jessica, I do want to scare her with my penis.
Honestly, where do these characters come from? Because every day it's something new. Brothers, in this game of flirting, during the courtship phase, overdoing it can be counterproductive. A woman to whom you start giving too much attention can end up misinterpreting it as a bombardment of love. The thing is, women don't like a man who is too easy to get, because you don't become a challenge. Remember, the only power a man has is his attention. Women are addicted to attention. Knowing how to play this game makes you an attractive man. It's like the guy who thinks that if he replies to a woman within a minute, she will be more interested. Unless the conversation is flowing really well, then reply quickly. But when you see it's dwindling, cut the interaction or take longer to reply to create intrigue. You're a busy man. It sends the signal that if you don't value the time I spend talking to you, then I won't talk to you again that day because I'm focused on myself. If you doubt that this works, remember, there's a study that says women are more attracted to bad boys or narcissistic men because these men are direct about what they want. It presents a more intriguing challenge to them. But they ignore her when she doesn't do what they want, putting her off her pedestal, because they are clear that they are the most important. That's why I always tell you to stay focused on your life goals, on improving yourselves, brothers.
We need to get one thing straight, and this is a hill I will absolutely die on. This is not a feminine woman. And I don't believe in feminine, masculine, gender roles bullshit, but if you want to talk about those, this is not a feminine woman. This is a woman that is deeply, deeply, deeply in her masculine. Deeply and unfortunately in her masculine. This woman is dressed for the male gaze. This woman is on a schedule, cooking, cleaning, providing. This woman is disciplined. This woman is organized. This woman is goal-oriented. This is a masculine woman. This is a woman that's deeply in her masculine. Most importantly, this woman is inside and not outside. Women don't belong in a house, in a four-wall constrained space on a tight schedule, providing food and comforts for a man. That's not feminine. The ancient feminine is described as wisdom, as creativity. Yes, nurturing, but definitely not coddling, as in preparing food for somebody or as in cleaning somebody else's house. Nurturing typically referred to the woman's relationship with nature and with her own children. This is a woman in her feminine. This is a nymph. This is a woman who's at one with nature. This is a creative woman. That's why they used to get kidnapped and trapped by men, is to be their muse. He typically did not like that. So they did not like living with men. They did not do any cooking or cleaning, I don't think. They spent most of their time trying to run away back into the woods. This is your real feminine woman. She's full of wisdom. She's full of a connection with the world, with nature, and she is full of freedom. She's free-flowing. She's formless. The definition of femininity we get from like the Bible, all that happened because agriculture became the standard. Really, women did need to be trapped once and for all, and that's what happened. But it didn't make women any more feminine. It made them more masculine. And that's why we live in such a scheduled, regimented, 4x4, walled off kind of world, is because there is not enough of the feminine principle out here. We are sorely missing it. I mean, I don't know if y'all remember 2020, there was a lot of people who now are like, I will never not work from home again. I will never again be constrained by this type of schedule, by having to go into the office, etc., etc. And you know who was most benefited by being able to work from home? Women. Because women are sorely missing part of their energy because they have been so forced to operate double time with men, doubling down on all the masculine principles. It just goes to show that women are not inherently feminine. Women can be just as masculine as men, right? Going to work, providing, staying on a schedule, staying organized, disciplined. Women have done all that and more, all while still performing femininity for men, because we don't get to have real femininity. We get to just perform it. But working from home definitely benefited women because that's how women work best. It obviously benefited women at the same time because a lot of the load at home falls on their shoulders, and working from home allows you to get that done in a less regimented, less scheduled type way, which is also the feminine principle, is doubly beneficial to women. The people calling for return to the office have mostly been male CEOs, and they have also been incredibly out of touch in addressing why people need to come back to the office and in the assumptions that they made about people working from home. That's because the masculine principle only sees things in terms of we need to organize, we need to observe, we need to restrain, we need to produce, control. And staying home on your husband's and your kids' schedule and sticking to that schedule and adhering to it and cooking and cleaning and doing all that, that should really be a man's job, because all of that requires regiment, requires discipline, requires scheduling, requires providing, and requires certain type of very tangible skills that you do with your hands, which is typically a very masculine type of energy. If you truly want to be feminine, take off your clothes and run into the woods. All right, Godspeed. Mm.
You know, if you see a woman without clothes in the woods, she's trying to be feminine because she's not recording herself to give us an idea of how this advice would be applicable. Don't you think, brothers? This is what makes me laugh about modern women. They want to apply their opinions about what has always been normal for everyone for years to suit their current situation. According to their logic, a woman who stays at home is masculine, and so is a woman who works. But a woman is feminine if she connects with nature. Even saying all this nonsense, I just wonder what this woman smoked, because it must have been pretty good. Here's another point. Women who have worked their entire lives in the workforce tend to be the most bitter, prone to mental breakdowns or imbalances, and are more depressive in most cases. They often end up in therapy. A woman who stays at home taking care of her family rarely needs antidepressants, because a woman feels good being needed. Women like to be included. There's no greater role for a woman than being a mother and wife, playing a primary role in the home. Such a woman feels fulfilled, seeing her children depend on her, seeing the help she provides her husband, seeing that when she leaves the home, she is missed. A woman in a company, unless she's the owner or holds a very important position, just has to fall sick, and in less than a month, they're looking for her replacement. After a few days, no one remembers her. Do you think that would happen in a family? Of course not. You are part of the center around which everything orbits. If you're not there, it's deeply felt. But the modern woman doesn't understand this concept. She only lives speaking from fantasy.
Maybe. Maybe not. I mean, they're either stupid or disingenuous. Because if you think that laboring under a boss under capitalism is bad, just wait until you labor under a husband under patriarchy. You truly have to be either very ignorant or very disingenuous to say that because you want to be a stay-at-home parent or a stay-at-home wife, that feminism didn't do anything for you. Because as soul-sucking as you find your retail job to be, if you're getting paid the same amount as the men there and you can hold a bank account and a credit card and rent an apartment, feminism is benefiting you. And if you're choosing to be a stay-at-home wife and your husband is not legally allowed to rape, beat, and lobotomize you, you are benefiting from feminism. And when women make videos and say, what did feminism ever do for me? Now I have to go to work and come home and do laundry and do all the domestic work. Babe, wake up. That's not a problem of too much feminism. That's a problem of not enough feminism. That you married a man who won't do the fucking laundry. In a country that is actively trying to roll back the rights of women, curling your hair and talking about how feminism hasn't done anything for you because you want to cook a meal for your man is dangerous propaganda that is actively participating in the oppression of women.
Brother, feminism 50 or 70 years ago did a lot for women, and that is acknowledged. But what has the current movement achieved? Because they all talk about the benefits it brings, but it only keeps repeating the same glories achieved years ago. Modern feminism has only generated polarization, bitter people, low birth rates, increased depression, and, to top it off, an unfounded hatred towards an invisible enemy called patriarchy. Now that they have more freedoms than ever in their lives, how are they really using it? In attacking men. Now, a man is in such a condition that even his breathing oppresses them. This is where I also wonder, if she supports that movement so much, what has it brought her? being single over 30, having to work all her life because if she stops, she'll starve. There's a denial of the opposite sex due to an inability to coexist in a relationship or hitting the wall because, as we all know, the wall is unforgiving. But look at the next video for the perspective of a married woman.
So I have a really hard time answering this question just yes or no, so I'm probably going to make this unnecessarily long-winded. The short answer of it is, well, yes, I live like a trad wife. I'm a stay-at-home wife. I take care of all of the household duties, and I don't allow my husband to do the dishes, laundry, sweep, anything. I don't believe like anything else that goes with being a trad wife when you Google it. I don't believe that a woman's place is inside the home. I believe a woman's place is exactly where she wants to be. I didn't ever have a dream of being a stay-at-home wife. When we were in Phoenix, we both worked full-time and we both took care of the household duties. We split them however they were split. So, if I just noticed that dishes needed to be done, I would do them. If he noticed laundry needed to be done, he would do it. And neither one of us believe in gender roles because we are in a partnership. So we both do the tasks that need to be done, and that's it. I personally have found a lot of identity and a lot of joy in being a stay-at-home wife, and it's made life a lot easier for both of us because I know that I have all the time in the day to get all the chores done inside of the house and technically outside that need to get done without having to worry about making money on top of that. So that's my husband's job. He worries about making the money, and then he comes home to a clean house and dinner ready. But when you look up trad wife online, there's a lot of toxicity that goes with it, and I don't agree with any of it. And women especially tend to think that being a trad wife means that your husband doesn't respect you and he walks all over you, and that is 100% not the case here. And I wanted to make that very clear when I replied to this. My husband is an incredible man. I am the luckiest woman in the world to be his wife. There has never been a single day where he has not thanked me for everything I do inside the home. Every time he sits down for dinner, he says, "Thank you for making me a delicious hot meal." When he gets up to put his dishes in the sink and I yank them from his hands, he looks at me with the most love in his eyes and says, "Thank you." What my husband loves about me being a stay-at-home wife is that he doesn't have to worry about me driving to work every single day and the potential of me getting into an accident. But outside of that, he was never like, "You need to be a stay-at-home wife. I need a stay-at-home wife." So eventually that's what we're going to do is, only I'm going to work and you're going to be a stay-at-home wife and you're going to take care of everything. It just kind of happened to fall that way where he needed to get a job outside the home, and I wasn't comfortable with working outside of the home because we had just moved to a brand new state. If I really wanted to get a job, a full-time job, there's no issue for either one of us. I could go get a full-time job. But for both of us, like I said, it's far easier for me to stay at home and take care of everything while he goes and makes the money, especially because we don't need two incomes to live. If we did, then that would be a different story. We did in Phoenix. I needed to have a job in order for us to live in Phoenix, but we moved out here and we don't have bills really. So one income is more than enough. And eventually we want to get to the point where we can make money solely at home so he doesn't have to work outside the home, which at that point, then taking care of the property and doing the household duties would again be split. But I could not imagine asking my husband getting home from a 12-hour workday, working 6 days a week to lift a single finger when it's completely unnecessary for him to do so. I love my husband and I want him to come home to a hot meal in a clean cabin. That's why I do what I do inside the home, and that's why I don't let him put his dishes in the sink and I don't let him do dishes or the laundry, because I love him and I want to take care of him because he in turn is taking care of me by working outside of the home and making our money. So that's my extremely long-winded answer to whether or not I consider myself a trad wife.
Did you see the difference with a woman who thinks clearly and gives clear, precise responses? Brothers, women think that when a couple decides that the woman should stay at home, only the man benefits. But in reality, it's advantageous for a man to have a working woman to some extent because she contributes income and decreases the financial burden on the man. Many only talk about how he will have hot meals and everything done for him, but who covers the woman's expenses? From salon visits, credit card bills, gasoline, car payments, all the utility bills, food, gym memberships, or any other hobbies she may have, not to mention health expenses. All of that comes out of the man's pocket, including home repairs. You're just asked to look after the children, clean the house, and prepare meals. But in any emergency, the man has to be ready to respond. So do you think every man wants a traditional woman for everything? A man just wants a woman who performs acts of service, who takes care of him, is affectionate. If she works, it's a bonus. Now, when a working woman decides to stay at home for the children, it's respectable. And the man also has to rise to this life challenge. We all know that we men function better when we have a goal or a challenge set. So, being the primary provider in a household today is something also worthy of respect for a man. But modern women don't understand this. Just look at this radical feminist in the next video.
Why would he not waste your time? Aside from the fact that he should be a good human, which he clearly has shown that he's not, why would he not waste your time? Let's do a cost-benefit analysis. There is literally no cost for him.
Okay, go watch that whole video. It's in my caption. Because this is spot on. They have no reason to not waste your time. Because I don't know if you get this yet, but men benefit more from romantic relationships and marriage than women do. And I know that we've been told our whole life that, like, if we just get married, it's all bullshit. If you are not with a man who thinks of you as an equal partner, you will lose in these romantic relationships. So why would they not waste your time? One of the most eye-opening experiences of my life was writing this reported article for Harper's Bazaar. Because I kind of knew all this in theory, but interviewing woman after woman after woman, hearing what all she did for these men. They take and they take and they take. And you'll stick around. You'll stick around because we have been conditioned to expect nothing from these men and to give and give and give. And the most brilliant thing they've ever done was convince us that we should want to get married and that men don't want to get married. Are you kidding me? Why would they not want to get married? Other than cheating is going to make it harder for them to sleep with more than one person. And this is why one of the major things that I had to do to decenter men was to address my codependency. Now, I was raised in a family that absolutely set me up to be codependent, but under patriarchy, women are literally taught to be codependent. Do everything for men. Everything is about them and completely lose ourselves. We don't even know what we want. So please, for the love of God, stop waiting for them to just leave you alone, to release you, to set you free. Block these motherfuckers. Cut them off. Because if they're exploiting you now, you're not even married, you think it's going to get better once you get a ring on your finger? You're fucked. Do not give these men anything unless they have earned it. Because if they don't realize that you are fucking precious, a precious pearl, and that they are honored to have you in their life, stop giving them anything, especially your time.
See what I'm telling you? When they hit the wall, their minds become unstable. Brothers, if you make a list from 20 years ago and analyze how the majority of women between 50 to 60 years old own a house, you'll realize it's often due to a divorce. If you ask most men in orphanages or living on government assistance, you'll find that if it's not 100%, then 80% went through a divorce that left them with nothing. So, who takes from whom? It's well known that for every millionaire man who gets divorced, a new millionaire woman quickly emerges. Just look at the 100 richest women in the world, and you'll see that if not 50 of them became wealthy through divorce. So, who is taking from whom? Women are sold the idea that only their time matters, that it's the only time of value, as if men aren't affected by time. What I wonder is, why is it that whenever a man starts a dating relationship, the main goal for most women, especially when they're nearing 30, is marriage? They all want it. If it were just about being with that man and not having full commitment, they wouldn't ask to get married if things are so bad. But all women want to get married, unlike men, who want it the least. How is it possible, if men are the ones who benefit from marriage? Brothers, what are we missing? What are we not being told? Where's the trick that we're not seeing? Brothers, take care of your financial life and don't be fooled into thinking this only benefits one side. A man can be fulfilled without the need to marry. Only commit to a woman who treats you as the best option she can access, who gives you the respect you deserve, always with a prenup. We've reached the end of the video, but before we go, the questions are for you. Who thinks they benefit from marriage? What do you think about the situation of these women? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell. Your support means the world to us and motivates us to create more content. Stay tuned for the next exciting video from The Wall.